When you were growing up, did you have that one little kid who always messed everybody else's stuff up? You know how it was when you maybe had all your toys laid out on the ground, or your cars, Matchbox cars, Hot Wheels, right? Or you had your crayons laid out, or maybe you had your dolls all laid out. Everything was nice and neat and perfectly set up. Your dominoes was all in a row. And then here comes little Johnny and little Susie. And just for the fun of it, they want to just mess everything all up, right? And make you mad, make you upset, right? And it could be, though, that maybe you were little Johnny and little Susie. Well, you don't want to mess everybody else's stuff up. All right, you can be honest. It's good confession time. But if you were, we forgive you, right? If you were that person. But if you weren't that person, you probably remember who that person was. Why? Because they were disruptive. And of course, in classrooms, right, teachers talk about the disruptive kid, like the class clown, the one who takes the attention away from everybody else. But what's interesting is that we actually need people like that in the world right now. We need disruptors. We need people who will mess up the status quo. Why? Because there are too many people being hurt by the status quo. And some people want to leave the status quo because they benefit from things staying the same. Why? How do people get hurt by the status quo? Why? We're talking about things like poverty, homelessness, unemployment, illiteracy. We're talking about sex trafficking. We're talking about all kind of areas where people's lives are being hurt because some people want the status quo to stay the status quo. That's why we need people like you. You're a disruptor. You want to use the gifts, talents, and abilities God has given you to change the system, to change ways that things are done, to keep people from getting hurt, or help people get healed who have been hurt. We need you. God sent you to the earth with a purpose. He sent you to the earth with gifts, talents, and abilities to use your skills to be a disruptive force, a positive disruptive force in the earth. Don't you be discouraged by people who can't fit you in a box, or you don't think you fit anywhere. It's because you weren't supposed to fit. You're a disruptor, right? You weren't supposed to go along with the status quo because you're a disruptor. You weren't supposed to just put up with things the way they are without bringing positive change to it. Why? Because you're a disruptor. God put that passion inside of you to see people's lives change. He gave you the ability to do maybe a lot of creative things, whether it be through your job, through a business, through a community service project, or just you being you out and about. And because you don't like seeing people hurt, you don't like seeing things stay the same without you being willing and able to do something about it. The world needs you. God sent you here. There are people who are waiting on you to use your gifts, talents, and abilities because they need you to help set them free so that they can be who God called them to be. You're a disruptor. And if you are a disruptor, don't run from that. Don't be discouraged by that, right? There are many disruptors throughout our history that if they hadn't been disruptive, the world might be completely different right now. Jesus Christ was a disruptor. Martin Luther was a disruptor. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a disruptor. Rosa Parks was a disruptor. Steve Jobs, he was a disruptor. So was Bill Gates. But what about you? Do you get that same sense that God has given you something special to do in the world, but it doesn't fit what everybody else thinks you should do or the normal way that things are done? Well, guess what? That's on purpose. That's intentional. God created you just like that because He has a special assignment just for you. So I want to help you. I want to encourage you. All right? Be who you are. Be fully who you are and allow God to use you in a major way. But I also want to encourage you to know that there's maybe some unique ways and perspectives that you need to be taught so that you don't run from who you are, but you actually fully embrace who God has called you to be. I want to help you out with that. This coming Monday night, November the 20th, starting at 8:30 p.m., I'm excited to start a brand new Bible study called, guess what? The Disruptors. I'm going to be talking all about men and women who God has used throughout history to bring change and transformation to the world. If you believe that you're a disruptor or that you have the potential to be a disruptor, I encourage you, join me on Facebook Live starting at 8:30 p.m. I'm going to maybe bring a different perspective, the different biblical stories and individuals that you've heard of before, and just bring out some different insights to who those individuals are and how they relate to you. Again, God wants to use you for great and mighty and amazing things, but it may be in a way that nobody's ever seen before, but that's okay. So I just want to encourage you, Be who you are. Be the disruptor God has called you to be, a positive disruptor. Again, he's standing behind you, he's backing you, and guess what? So am I. All right, God bless you, and I'll see you on Facebook Live.